Welcome back, sleuths, suspects, and witnesses. We've all had a day to kind of relax and take in the insanity of the horror that played out before us the night before Valentine's Day. Today, we're going to learn more about it and move through it, I hope. So again, for those of you who haven't been here before, I just want to remind you of our schedule. I'm going to try really hard to keep us to this timeline so that I only take up an hour of your night tonight. As you can see, the sardonic manuscript has been retrieved. For those of you who were here with us on the 13th or who watched the replay, you saw that unfold. For those of you who didn't watch the replay or were not here, this is going to be a fun night for you because you're not going to know what's coming. Okay, to start our evening tonight, as we always do, we have two amazing authors reading for us tonight. Jennifer Hobbs is going to be reading from her book, Calmed Growth After Trauma. And Lisa Jacovsky is going to be reading from her children's book, Let's Talk Going to the Zoo. Okay, awesome. So welcome everybody into the room. I'm so glad everybody is here tonight. We have a good sized room. We're going to have a lot of fun. Everybody though, please, for the readings, turn your microphones off so that we don't get any weird background noises. And we're going to start this thing. We're going to start with Lisa reading for us first. So Lisa, the first thing I need to know is, are you going to show the book or are you going to share your screen? Which would you like?
I'm going to show the book.
That's
I
perfect.
still have issues getting this into like a PowerPoint or anything, so
Okay.
I'll show it.
No problem. Okay, so hold it up just a little bit closer so that we can see it. This is Let's Talk Going to the Zoo. All right, Lisa, when you are ready, please take the microphone and read aloud.
All right. Oh, wait, wrong page. Here we go. Hi, my name is Harper, and this is my best friend, Emma. She has autism, which is just a fancy way of saying she learns differently than I do. But boy, she does not let it stop her from having fun. Autism also means she may act differently around me and other kids. She can become excited easily and begin to flap her hands. I usually smile and flap my hands with her. Many other kids like us do not really understand, but I'm always happy to talk to them about what Emma is doing. Emma talks to me differently than my other friends as she cannot use her mouth to talk because of autism. That is okay though, because she does not need her mouth to talk to me. She can read and write, so she uses flashcards. She writes using a pad and pencil. We talk all the time and laugh together. We are always going on adventures and having fun together. We are best friends. We both love animals, but neither of us had been to the zoo yet. My mommy always says that as Emma has autism, we can learn so much from her and teach our other friends. That is exactly what we did the first time we went to the zoo. I'm going to tell you about our first adventure to the zoo and some new things that we learned. Our daddy said they would take us to the zoo one day, and boy, were we happy. It was finally the day for our visit to the zoo. We were so excited. We were almost jumping up and down while holding hands with our daddies as we walked into the zoo. The first animals we went to see were in what they called the touch pool. It means we could actually touch the animals there. We touched starfish, sea urchins, and something called a cow-nose ray. Daddy said we had to be very gentle so that we did not hurt the animals. Emma and I both loved them. After visiting the touch pool, we went to see the tigers and lions. They were our favorite animals. The tigers were big and orange and so pretty. We could stare at them all day. We just didn't want to leave this section of the zoo, but there was so much to see. Next, we went to see the monkeys. The monkeys could climb so high and swing so fast. Emma and I could not believe it. It was so fun to watch the monkeys swinging through the trees. Emma got so excited that she began to flap her hands and make a grunting noise. When Emma was flapping her hands, some other kids came over and began to point and laugh at her. She did not seem to mind though. She kept looking at the monkeys, but I frowned at the group because what they were doing seemed mean. Why are you pointing and laughing at my friend? I asked the girl in front. Her name was Jeanette. Because she looks dumb flapping her hands. Who does that in public? Jeanette said, laughing. I said to her, Emma has autism, which means she learns differently than we do and may sometimes act differently, but it does not mean she is dumb. That is mean to say about my friend. She can read and write and understand everything we say to her. Then our daddies came over, swinging their arms like monkeys and making silly sounds. My daddy said, Emma may act differently sometimes, but that is okay because being silly anywhere is what monkeys always do. Monkeys don't care what anyone else thinks, so why should we? Let's have fun. He started to jump up and down and make silly faces. Then one of the boys in the group walked over to us and began to jump up and down and swing his arms. Hi, I'm Jerry. I like being silly and think autism is cool, he said, smiling at me and Emma while the group of mean little kids walked away. Jerry, our daddies, Emma and I jumped up and down, swinging our arms, laughing so hard until our bellies hurt. After we made a new friend in Jerry, we went around the rest of the zoo with him, his daddy, and our daddies. We got to see bears, birds that were the colors of the rainbow, and sea lions. We even got to feed a llama. We had the best day and learned a valuable lesson. No matter what anyone else thinks, it is more fun to be ourselves, no matter how silly we look.
Yay! That's such a great book. This is, again, hold the book up so everybody can see it.
There's so much in the chat too.
Let's talk going to the zoo. And this is the first in what is so far a 3-book series.
This is number 2.
Oh, that's right. It is number 2. I always get it confused because you read it first on the podcast. So thank you so much for that. And again, look for the other book.
Thank you guys.
Lisa's going to read again later this month.
Yeah,
so make sure you come back for that. That's super, super fun. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Jennifer Hobbs is now going to read from her book, Calmed Growth After Trauma. Jennifer, do you have a copy you can hold up to the screen for us?
Sure do.
There we go. Calmed Growth After Trauma. This is an awesome story, you guys. You're going to love this. So when you are ready, Jennifer, you've got about 8 minutes. Please take the microphone and read aloud.
Okay. September 5th, around midday, as soldiers were walking to and from Chow, devastation came to us as we were attacked with mortars walked in by the enemy. Walking in involved popping off one mortar, identifying where it landed, then walking or moving to get closer each time. Unlike most mortar attacks that we experienced that year, this was far different. The first mortar came in as a direct hit, landing between my unit's 2 large main barracks. We were not on a high level of alert, therefore, people were not walking around wearing their protective gear. I was in my cubicle living space in the female barracks about 400 meters away from the mortar assault when it started. I was putting on my boots to walk over to Chow before the earth-shaking explosion ravaged our base. I hit the floor immediately and recognized the intense closeness of the explosions. It felt like one was about to come through the roof at any time. My body tensed up as I prayed fiercely. Oh, dear God, make it stop. Please, Lord, make it stop. After about 6 mortar explosions and a long pause, I frantically climbed to my feet, grabbed my weapon, and ran. The crowd of females tried to escape out one small single-door exit from our building. As we all ran out, some went left, some went right. There was a bunker on each side of the building. I don't know why, but our unit females typically retreated to the same one. We spent more time in that bunker than we could ever have liked, but it felt safer when we were outside chatting and hanging out. This bunker had become familiar to us. I had memories in this bunker, but this would be one of the worst. We knew it was a bad attack. Everyone was shaken and concerned beyond belief. That was our family over there. Before they moved us females, we used to be in the same bunkers with them during mortar attacks. I felt better being with them during those times, and now we were together in a bunker with females from the other units we didn't even know. Out one of the entrances to the bunker, we saw medevacs driving from the direction of our main barracks to the troop medical clinic. I stood there in complete dismay as the fear bled through my body. What is happening? Just then, a sergeant from another company whom we'd never really interacted with entered our bunker. She had walked over from the other bunker and she questioned, anyone in here from the 1544th? Like a bunch of deer in headlights, we stared at her, nodding, and somehow managed to answer her. In my head, I'm thinking, duh, you know doggone well that 90% of the people in this bunker are 1544th. Yes, a few managed to respond. Well, y'all better start praying. Your unit has been hit hard. Terrified and shaken with disbelief, we looked around at one another. We grabbed hands and prayed. Hooray, Sergeant Lamo, way to lead the way. Instead of providing us with the comfort we needed during such a devastating experience, she stole what little hope we were clinging to. About an hour passed and we still hadn't received the all clear signal yet. A few of us slowly started making our way out of one of the bunker entrances to see daylight. A fellow 1544th battle buddy walked by, clearly involved in the sweep of the base after the mortar attack. Sweeps were done to check on the different impact spots, as well as to look for unexploded mortars. One of our females asked him how the status was as he hustled past, clearly agitated. The horror in his face was obvious and something I've never forgotten. It's bad. It's real bad, he said as he continued past us. Standing there, stunned, we all froze in time for a moment, unable to move or breathe. Then we did the only thing some of us knew to do. We kept praying. Prayer and each other was all we had at that moment. Oh crap, what is that sound? Oh God, I know it's a helicopter. I just know it. As the sound got closer and louder, the medevac helicopter came into sight. What is going on? Let us out of here. We need to get to our unit. Dear Lord, let them be okay. Please, Lord. What seemed like a lifetime later, we finally received the all call and were released from the bunkers. Finally, we grabbed our weapons and exited frantically. We ran inside to grab our protective gear. I threw my Kevlar on my head, wrapped my flak jacket around my chest, and grabbed my weapon. Fearful of the unknown, many of us ran together to our main barracks. Once the barracks were in sight, we slowed down and walked with a purpose. At first, nothing seemed obviously out of place. People were walking around. Some soldiers were sweeping the sidewalks. I saw the brooms kicking up tons of dust from the dirt. Why would they be sweeping right now? I noticed that they were taking the dirt and pushing it onto the sidewalk. And then it dawned on me. They were covering up the blood they tried to clean up. We slowly gathered into formation. Something wasn't right. Nothing was right. I saw it in so many of the faces around me, faces that were no longer unfamiliar and new to me. I knew their faces. I knew their demeanors, their nonverbal body language. I knew something was not right. And sadly, I was right. Things were a blur after formation. But then later that day, when we were called into the chow hall, oh God, we knew what that meant. It wasn't good. We entered the chow hall in silence and stared in fear about what we would hear next. That's
Well
the cliffhanger
done.
there.
This is such a powerful story about veterans and about their perspective on war. And I highly recommend everyone read it when you get a chance. It's really a powerful tale. And I'm really pleased, Jennifer, that you wrote this book for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you hold up the cover for us again so that we can see it? This book is called Calmed, Growth After Trauma. So when you get a chance, look that one up. It really is a powerful story. And I think you'll all come away with a new understanding of veteran life. Thank you again. All right, everybody. It's time to move on. Here we go. Let me share my screen. Act 2, the case of the assassinated author. Who poisoned Andrew Allen Smith, and why did they do it? If you were here on the 13th, you saw it all unfold before your very eyes. Andrew.
Wait,
Go ahead.
hold on 1 second. Makeup. Okay. I feel dead now.
See a zombie.
Oh.
See a zombie.
I did not.
All right.
Okay.
Makeup's good. Now we're set.
I did not know he was going to do that. Okay.
Go for your doughboy.
Okay. So for those of you who weren't here, Andrew died on the 13th. He was poisoned when we all took a small respite from the intense interrogations we were going through. It was needless to say, a difficult evening for all of us, except of course, it wasn't, because it was so much fun. So here we go. The suspects: Chloe Holliday, Melinda Falgo, Ruby Fink, Amy Kelso, Jules Nelson, Marianne Wieland, Deborah Reed. These are our suspects. We need to get to the truth, everybody. As we go through the interrogations, everyone, nice. Everyone is going to be able to have an opportunity to ask questions of our remaining suspects. And because Andrew is dead, you will not be able to ask him any questions, but I cannot guarantee that his ghost will not be lingering in the chat. So let's begin the interrogations. Does anybody have anything to say as we begin? Wait, hold on. I just got a call. Because of the murder, and because I'm, the president of the Friends of the Library Society, I felt that it was in our best interest, although our librarian and our library director did not think to do this, I took it upon myself to call the authorities.
Oh.
I was so shocked about the mess.
I thought it was important that we call the police.
Yeah, and
so I did. What they told me is that a detective is already here. He has been undercover the entire time.
Hmm.
He
Christopher Gare is our undercover detective.
I should have known something up was with that guy.
Mhm.
He was hiding behind the
Yeah,
signs.
That makes sense.
That explains.
Mhm.
Christopher Gare, the undercover detective. The
There's a sign
reason-
here.
The reason Christopher is in the room is because his team has been investigating Chloe, Andrew, and Deborah, who were all at an auction a few weeks ago where other items had been stolen, including that ever so famous Gutenberg Bible that Deborah had mentioned. When Christopher's team tailed everyone to the same library on the same day, Christopher came into the library, got wind of the theft of the sardonic manuscript, and stayed in the shadows, listening and learning all he could in hopes that it would lead him to the Bible and the other cache of stolen items. But
He totally did not stay silent in the shadows.
but when Andrew turned up dead, Christopher had no choice but to come out of the shadows, and he is here today to do his duty as an officer of the law and find the murderer, not to mention discover the reason why the origami horses were left at all of the thefts. And so,
Let me
Christopher?
first say, at least, I mean, as a professional, Deborah, you are so screwed.
Innocent until proven guilty, Mr. Detective.
Yes.
So,
Unfortunately, it was my coffee.
So,
Yes.
Christopher,
I'll have tea.
in your official capacity, you have to have the first question tonight.
I will. I think I speak for everybody in the room. Deb, why'd you do it?
I don't know, but I know why I'm gonna kill you.
Oh,
Threatening a police officer. This could get dicey, people.
Deborah.
What I have to say to her is this. Go ahead, make my case. So,
Okay.
Melinda, with the water in your mouth. Yes, you. I had a couple questions for you. What is it that you do for a living that you can afford to pay so much money to the library?
What is it that I am just a little old researcher, but as the world would have it, people need researchers all the time. In fact, I work with a lot of authors who are always looking for material to back up their fiction and their nonfiction works. So a modest sum from that, enough to let me go around and make donations, because certain people are so uptight about letting people in and out of their libraries.
And do you blame me? Look what happened on my watch. Do you blame me for being uptight about this?
Yes, it happens on your watch. I blame you specifically.
Okay. Mark McCraw, I believe you had a question for our suspects.
Okay, somebody already answered one of it. Coffee was probably in the hand of Andrew. Marianne was saying it was her coffee. So my question
Well,
is.
it came from her cafe. It
Came
wasn't
from her
specifically
cafe.
hers.
Okay, not specifically her, but were all three of them sitting at the counter with you at the time?
No, I
Marianne,
think you missed it,
did I miss that
Mark.
part?
Yeah, Mark, we all 8 suspects and myself, we were toasting to Valentine's Day.
Oh,
We
okay.
all took a sip from our mugs at the same time. All of the beverages had been brought over from the cafe simultaneously.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
And
Okay.
nobody had left the room.
And it was the president of the book society that was the one who decided to give us all coffee. So just want to point that out. Diane.
I just paid for it. I didn't go get it.
You offered it though. You
I'm
were the
just
one who
being-
came up with the idea.
Just being a gracious host here. That's all. Trying to keep you people under control, which, by the way, not very simple.
How gracious is it when you murder somebody in the process?
I think
That's
somebody,
heavy.
I think somebody dumped took it out of their purse and dumped it in the coffee.
Well, that's not a question. Okay. Mackenzie wants to know, Miss Reed, how do you prefer to eliminate people?
I answered, I said very carefully.
Okay.
The other day you said kill him.
I see that now.
It looks like Jennifer Rains has a question.
Jennifer, go right ahead.
If everybody was sitting in the cafe together, did Andrew
were-
just
We
stand up?
we were sitting in the lobby of the
Okay,
library.
so you're in the lobby, you've just been served your drinks.
Mhm.
Did Andrew just stand up and collapse dead?
Actually, he fell off his chair and collapsed dead.
But
was
the
very
book was
elegant.
found, the manuscript was found beside him.
It was indeed.
Did it fall out of his shirt?
No, it fell out of the dust jacket for his book, The Way of Antiquities.
Oh.
Ah.
Wondering
why he
what
wouldn't let
read
anybody
in
look
the
at it.
book.
He had it all along. He was trying to divert attention away from himself as the thief. Didn't work very well because now he's dead. Katie, go ahead, ask your question.
So catching up, but Ruby
Yes.
was there
Uh-huh.
at the toast.
Mhm.
Ruby, being a psychic, knows has experience with performing and with giving performances. And one of the things that tends to go hand in hand with psychics is magicians and sleight of hand. Ruby, are you trained in sleight of hand? Could you potentially be slipping poison with your sleight of hand?
I am not trained in that. I do more palm readings and card readings. For the most part, I am sometimes able to have visions, but it is not always within my control.
Yeah, Ruby lives a fuzzy life.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have any questions?
Amy.
Amy does.
Amy, go ahead.
Well, first I have to say, Ruby, if you are a psychic, wouldn't you have known ahead of time what was going to happen? But I know it was fuzzy, right?
She lives a fuzzy life. I
Yeah.
told you.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, I'm sorry, I have to point out, you guys were all giving me trouble because a book was stolen on my watch, but there was a detective in the library when a murder happened. So let's think about that. And I am just really glad that the book is back safe. I'm sorry about Andrew, but
To your credit, Amy, the book was never actually stolen. It never made it out of the library.
see, because of me. He was afraid to leave the library.
He was afraid of you. All right. Christopher, go ahead, sir.
We are missing a pretty easy question here too. If Andrew was poisoned, how did the person who poisoned him know what to poison? There were two people who seemed to have known him, who we were tracking, and that was Chloe and, big surprise, Deborah, who had spent some time with him and who probably observed him. So, Deborah,
Christopher.
how well did you know Andrew? And how much time had you spent with him prior, before you poisoned him?
Before he died, I mean, really, I had seen him at the one auction with the other stuff that had been stolen, and he kind of, was forcing his book on me in the library because, apparently he didn't have a chance to do that at the auction, and he felt the need that he needed to do it now. And so, I mean, it wasn't a lot of time. I was trying to be nice and take a look at it and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, he wouldn't let me look at it, which now we know why. But I mean, it wasn't too much time, enough time for me to get annoyed. But
Was he being furtive at the auction when you were there together? Did you guys sit together and were you chummy, or was he furtive? Do you recall?
I wouldn't say that I don't remember him being furtive.
Okay.
You don't remember poisoning him either, but it happened.
On your watch, sir.
Okay. Mary Ann, go ahead.
This isn't a question so much. I have an observation.
Yes.
Andrew used to come over to the cafe and worry the life out of me, eat the food, drink the coffee, but every time he came over, she was not far behind. I think there might have been something going on there.
I agree.
Just an observation.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead,
No,
Dana. Dana, go
my
ahead.
question, I don't know if this is a question or a comment too. Okay, so if the psychic, and forgive me, I don't know, I keep forgetting the names. I'm
Ruby.
horrible with names.
Yep.
Ruby. If
Yes,
Ruby's
ma'am.
a psychic, what is her need to go into the library and look up books of like past lives and stuff? Like, isn't that funny to people that she's like researching and doing research in a library? If she's a psychic, like, wouldn't she have all that information? Why is she going to different towns and looking for? I don't know. Is that weird?
Well, actually, she was helping Melinda.
Oh, she's helping Melinda. Okay.
I highly recommend that everyone go back and watch the replay so that
Yeah,
they
I have to go back then.
so
I'm
that
missing
we
stuff.
don't rehash stuff we've already learned and we can ask new questions. Melinda, did you have a question? Okay. Mark, did you have a question?
Yes, my question is to Amy, since Amy was on the verge of possibly losing her job. Did she talk to Deborah, who is a news reporter, about possibly putting poison in the coffee?
Oh, so you're suggesting maybe Amy and the reporter were in cahoots?
I do. I'm thinking that.
Why would I poison Andrew's coffee if that were the case?
And
'Cause you
why
didn't-
would I
'cause you-
talk to the annoying librarian
Because you-
who yells at everybody?
Because you didn't like the fact Andrew was in the library in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's all about misdirection, Miss Amy. Weren't you working at trying to misdirect something earlier in the month? Trying to redirect someone from trying to replace you, maybe? Christopher, did you have questions, sir?
I always have questions.
Go ahead.
I am curious, Deborah and Jules, how well the two of you know each other, because as I recall, this was a couple nights ago, I forget who it was, somebody had asked Deborah a couple of questions, and out of nowhere, you, Jules, just decided to answer both of them and misdirect everyone from the answers that were supposed to be coming from Deborah. Tell me about your relationship.
The one question, somebody asked a question to me and to her, and I just assumed because I'm the director of the library that they would want to hear my answer first. And I don't remember the other one. I don't know Deborah very well at all because I usually do just stay in my office and I allow Amy to keep everybody else under control. So
Because she trusts me to do my job.
Well, at least she used to until she started to replace you.
Well, we'll see about that because
Miss Wheeland, Mackenzie wants to know, did any of the suspects help you get the drinks on the night of February 13th?
No. Two of my staff members helped bring the drinks over for everyone.
Yep, because we called them on the phone, put our
right.
orders on the speakerphone, right?
Right. None of us actually left the lobby of the library. The drinks were delivered. I had
Christopher, you had a
Yeah.
question? Did you have a question, Chris?
No.
Okay. I just gotta say, Andrew's ghost has just piped in. He says Monday the 13th, worse than Friday for everyone, mostly me. Andrew's ghost is definitely lurking in the shadows. You guys better watch what you say. He may know things you don't. Amy, go ahead.
I'm just curious at this point then if Marianne's staff members are the ones who brought us the coffee, why are they not part of this interrogation now? Or are they? Are they amongst us?
Well, Christopher, didn't you say that you wanted to keep the core group together because when the book went missing initially, there were only the 8 people in the room.
No, you said that.
I said that. I thought you said that.
No, I said that, yes.
Well,
Sure I did.
that's the reason.
Okay.
So that's why we called on the phone, because we didn't want too much contamination to the crime scene.
So we're just gonna go assume then that the employees weren't the ones who put the poison in.
Correct. We are not dealing with UFO type suspects here.
So we have nothing to say about that.
I
Got
have
it.
nothing to say about that. Deborah Reed, go ahead.
Well, I would like to know from Marianne what she means by every time Andrew came in, I wasn't far behind, because seriously, I was just trying to avoid that man. I would think I would remember if I was following him around. I mean, maybe he was following me.
It just seemed like both of you protest too much. And you know what they say about those who protest too much? Sparks were definitely flying between the two of you. And it just seemed like when one came, especially him, when he came over, you weren't too far behind. And I couldn't say every single time he came over, because he did like to eat the food and carry on with his nonsense and worry the life out of everybody there. And then when he sees you, sparks fly.
He was a little pushy with the book. And I need to tell you, Andrew's Ghost has interjected again. He says, Monday, the 13th, part 7, Andrew takes Manhattan.
I think Andrew's ghost is going to be more trouble than Andrew was.
Yes, it could be. We did worry the life out of him after all. Go ahead, Christopher. You look pensive.
Amy, we've heard that Jules has been considering replacing you. I'm kind of wondering when that may have started, because as I recall, you were the one who took the book out of Jules's office and put it on the shelf, cataloged it, and everything else. Was that about the time that she decided that you had to go?
I don't believe so. That actually happened several years ago when I actually put the book on the shelf. And it has been sitting there for a couple of years with no issues until Melinda showed up and suddenly wanted it. And now all of a sudden, all this craziness. So I don't know what's going on. And I don't know exactly when Jules thought it was time to replace me, but hopefully she's changed her mind about that after everything.
As I recall, Melinda mentioned that there was a layer of dust on the book when she first discovered it on the shelf. So it had been there for quite some time.
Jennifer Rains has had her hand up for a while.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, mine is to the detective, Christopher. Are we sure that Andrew was the intended victim? Did two people have the same drink order? And could there have been a mix-up?
No, Andrew ordered something very, very specific that only Deborah would have known.
I think you need to reread the rules of the law and about, innocent and guilty stuff there, Christopher.
There's no doubt that Andrew was the intended victim.
He clearly was the intended target.
Looking at the orders, because I did mark them down because I was the one who called because Diana asked me to. He ordered a whole milk latte with cinnamon and ginger, which is very different from everything.
That is very specific. Gary Floyd, you get the last question of the evening, sir.
I have a question, and my question is to Deborah. It seems like that you are here with Andrew at this one when this book goes missing. You're here with them at the Gutenberg Bible when that one goes missing, and you say you're avoiding them. It doesn't seem like you're doing a very good job of avoiding them.
Well, the man's persistent. What can I say?
Could you have been working with Andrew?
Well, like I said, if I worked with the man, I'd kill him inside of 5 minutes. Now, obviously,
Is that a confession?
Past 5 minutes this time. So obviously, if I was going to kill him, I would have done it earlier.
All right,
you have killed him?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to end our interrogation session for the evening. However, Deborah Harris did have one parting comment, and that is here it is. It was Miss Scarlet in the library with the poison.
Now we just have to figure out who Miss Scarlet is.
Well, exactly.
May I offer one closing comment?
Go ahead.
I'd like to quote a good friend of mine and something she has said many times during investigations, my good friend Diana. To all of you suspects, you have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel ducky today? Well, do you quackers?
Well done. Nicely done, everybody. We are done with the interrogation portion of the evening. Who did it? Who killed Andrew Allen Smith? Why? Why would anyone want to kill Andrew? He's such a nice guy. Why would you want to do this? Go back, watch all of our replays from the first half of the month to discover any latent clues you may have missed the first time around. The links are on our website. They're on our Facebook page. They're on our YouTube channel. Remember, the festival goes through the 28th of the month. The last day for clue giving will be the 27th. And again, if you hear someone say, I have nothing to say about that, it either indicates that they truly don't know anything about it, or that you are barking up the wrong tree with your questions. So, Andrew, you are back to being alive again. Welcome back to the room of the living.
It is why I picked the library to do this. I can clean the floors with the shark and not have to deal with carpet.
That was a good choice. I loved it. It was a nice touch. I was not expecting that. Super entertaining. I love it.
Are
when
you
you
going to
guys...
do that every night?
I haven't decided. I do have enough flour to do that.
That was super fun. Okay. So let's go on. Where am I? Here I are. Hold on. I gotta get back to my thing because Diana doesn't know what she's doing here. Hold on.
While you're doing that, I just want to point out, it looks like several of us have chosen to wear black today in memory of Andrew.
And I think that's very respectful.
Yes.
Just want to point out, I think it's very respectful. You
Is
guys
that what it was for? I thought we were mourning the reputation of our library.
We'll just pretend it's
I just happen to wear black because I really don't care if Andrew's dead or not. So.
Andrew, you're so well loved.
I love you too, Deborah.
All right,
I love you to death.
He's the killer. Wait, no, that doesn't work. Anyway.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. Why would he do that? Although, maybe.
Stranger things have happened in books.
You know, it's possible, you guys. Stew on that one for a little bit. Okay, here we go. Don't forget, we are running a scavenger hunt all month long. Thank you, Riddle Master Jacob Bulling, for helping me with the riddles. Check out the riddles every day. There's a couple of them there. You'll find the answers to the riddles are in the titles of the books that we read every night. Fingerprint update. We have 3 of our authors who have reached the heart of the case so far. Deborah Reed at 116, Andrew at 110, and Amy Kelso at 105. Congratulations, everybody. Here are the remaining leaderboard stats. Chloe has 78. Jennifer Rinaldi has 74. Christopher Garris, 65. Emma has 63, and we are at a tie for 5th place with Jacob Bullen and Jules Nelson. 371 pairs of eyes have been on our investigation so far. Remember to keep bringing people into the room to get more exposure for the dead body, because you know he's gonna evaporate soon. What's the word I'm looking for, Andrew?
I'm gonna start decomposing, you know.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah,
and then I'll puff up and explode, and
it's gonna get sticky in here, you guys. So
like a deer on the side of the road.
Ew. Sick. Here's the witness ledger so far. Our big night was the 13th. We had a lot of people in the room, 46 people in the room that night. So congratulations, everybody. Let's do it again. Bring more people into the room. It's time to spin the spinning wheel of happiness. Everybody loves this part of the night. If your name got on the registration roster before 6:45 tonight, I put your name on the spinning wheel of happiness. If you have won tonight, quick, write down my email address, diana@pagespromotions.com. Books will be sent out by the authors no later than March 5th. So it's time to get into our lightning round. We're going to ask everybody a question while Diana figures out what's going on with spinning wheel. This takes some pre-planning, people, some technical skills I'm not always up on every night. So here we go. Our lightning round question for this evening. Have you ever read an ebook just to test drive an author and then liked it so well that you bought the paperback version? We're going to start with Andrew.
I'm dead. I thought, oh no. Yeah, absolutely. I have both of Christopher's, I have both on Julie's, I have both on Deborah's. There are those that I bought both because I didn't want to wait for the actual printed book and went ahead and started reading and then switched over part of the way through.
Awesome. Christopher, what about you?
J. Michael Straczynski had come out with a book. He was creator of Babylon 5 and several other things. And I bought the ebook because I couldn't get the softcover right away. So I've done that.
Awesome. Marianne Wieland, what about you?
Well, I haven't read a lot of ebooks. I started out reading one of your ebooks, and I really wanted the paper copy, so I ended up ordering the books instead of finishing them on the ebook.
Okay.
Right. So
I appreciate you buying both. Mark McCraw, go ahead.
No, I can't say that I have. I've read some ebooks and stuff about Rome and some other stuff that I would have been interested in getting it, but the story was kind of messed up. So the way they wrote the ebook. So sorry.
Okay. Jennifer Hobbs.
I have. At first, I didn't think I was going to have one, but one of them that I used as research for my book that I listened to on audio, but then had to buy it was Struggle Well, Thriving in the Aftermath of Trauma. Not just a good book for, veteran related trauma, but amazing, by Ken Falk and Josh Goldberg. Obviously, I have lots of spots marked there.
Awesome. Deborah Reed, what about you?
Just one, and that's only because I haven't read very many ebooks because I prefer to actually hold the book in my hand. But I started out reading the Maze Runner series on an ebook and then loved, I think, the first one and bought that and then bought the whole rest of the series.
Yep. Amy Kelso.
A couple times, although part of it, I'll get an ebook because you can sometimes make the ebook read it out loud, and I'm more of an audio person. So I'll actually use the ebook to listen to books.
Nifty. Yeah, that whisper feature, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Chloe Holiday.
Yeah, I have. I really love paper in my hands, but I'm trying to get away from that since we're in our the house I hope we'll die in. And we just don't have the space. It was painful to give away so many paperback books in Illinois rather than move them. And so I'm trying to do ebooks mainly, but
it's a hard habit to break, isn't it?
It's hard. It's hard.
I have the same problem going to the cabin. Lisa Jacovsky.
I don't think I have. Usually I start an ebook if I run out of paperbacks.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Ruby Fink.
So kind of. I found this author on Wattpad. Her name is Joy Jenkins, and she wrote this book called A Secret Service, and I absolutely loved it. And then she got picked up by a traditional publisher, and then I bought her book just because I was a fan and I wanted to support her. And she's got more books after that, so I'm like, yay!
Mandy Jo, what about you?
I actually have gone from paperback to ebooks because I'm now in a 2-bedroom apartment, and so it's been a space thing. So I haven't gone the opposite direction, but I have gone and I liked the paper copy and bought it on ebook.
Deborah Harris, what about you?
I read a lot of ebooks because my husband bought me a little light for my Kindle and it doesn't disturb him as much as turning on a lamp.
Okay. Jules Nelson, what about you?
I'm actually the opposite. If I really like a book, then I'll buy it on ebook so that I have it and on my phone, because I get stuck in waiting rooms and a lot with Simon's appointments and stuff. So I'll read my favorite books on my ebook, and then I don't have to worry about getting interrupted. So I have all of Jane Austen's, I have Jane Eyre, stuff like that all on there. So
awesome. Jen Rinaldi.
The first book that I bought from Grace Draven was a paper copy, and then I went to ebooks because I want to read it. Same reason, in waiting rooms and stuff like that.
Katie Spina, what about you?
One specifically comes to mind, Saint Death's Daughter by C.S.E. Cooney, that I love basically everything she writes, and had to get that ebook right away. And then there was a Kickstarter, and I could get an autographed paperback, and my bookshelves need that pretty pink cover.
I agree.
Usually for me, it's audiobooks to buying the physical book, because I do audiobooks through the library.
Oh, excellent option. Gary Floyd, what about you?
Very limited with ebooks. I like physical books.
Okay. Emma Palova, what about you?
I have not done that. I read ebooks for research.
Okay. Dana Storino, what about you?
I was just recently an ARC reader for Good Morning Dinah by Emily Holyoke, and I loved it so much. It was actually about a girl with autism who falls in love. It's a really cute story. And I gave her a great review, and she sent me, I wanted a copy, and she sent me a signed copy. So I was very excited about that.
Excellent. Jennifer Wilcock.
No, I don't reread, so I don't ever buy if I've already read.
Okay. Donna Newman, what about you? Have you ever found an ebook?
Not ebooks, but audiobooks. I will rent an audiobook from the library, listen to it, and then I'll buy the book.
Awesome. Jennifer Rains.
No, we do have some books that we had in hard copy and got in ebooks. So you can read them anywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
And the night thing where you don't disturb your partner. You can each read at different hours of the night.
I just moved to a different room. Solves that problem. Melinda.
I'm like Jules and Jen, where I usually have them in multiple forms so that I can take them, because I travel so much with all the shows that having a Kindle or my phone is easier to carry than 57 books. But one book that I did get in ebook form first and then went out and got the paperback was actually, strangely, considering tonight's choice of readings, is Carly's Voice, Breaking Through Autism by Arthur Fleischman. It was such an excellent read and I like holding a book in my hand, and I knew I was going to go back to it. So I went and got the paperback of it.
Well done. Frankie Storino, what about you? Have you ever done this? No. Okay. Daryl Wilson, Winston, I'm sorry, what about you? If you don't want to talk on camera, you can put it, oh, there it is.
It is in the chat.
I mean, it's nice to have a paperback, but I've been converting to ebooks and audiobooks. Always been into technology, though, in this technology age. Yep. Okay. Who didn't I call on yet? Mackenzie, can you put yours in the chat? And Deb McPeak, what about you?
No.
Great, that's easy. See, Deborah, that's how you answer a question.
Amen to that.
And Amy, can you read Mackenzie's answer? for
Yes,
me?
I have Spider Sight by Taraz M.M. Hawkins on Kindle and would definitely buy it in paperback if I could. I'm too broke for physical books. So.
I hear that. I'm a glutton. I will, what I do is I buy the book in ebook after I've read it in paper, if I really enjoyed the paper, because then I know that if my library burns down, I'll still have the book. So that's my insurance. The ebooks are my insurance copy. So, okay, we are going to give away stuff on the spinny wheel. Let me share my spinny wheel. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, can you guys all see that? Amy, thumbs up.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to double check the sound just because it's been that kind of night.
Click the button.
Yeah, I just did. Okay, here we go. The first copy we're going to give away is Jennifer Hobbs' book, which is Calmed, Growth After Trauma. And the second book we're giving away is Lisa Jacovsky's book, Let's Talk Going to the Zoo. Okay, so the first one is for Jennifer's book. Here we go. And the second book, Lisa's book. Here we go. Well done. Okay. Again, just because I know Amy's going to get on me if I don't do this, so I'm going to do this. Okay, I don't want to get on the librarian's bad side. That's a bad idea. If you have won something in the nightly loot bag tonight, please send me an email with your mailing address to diana@pagespromotions.com. Authors will ship out books by March 5th. I had a great time tonight. Thank you, everybody, for making this month so much fun. I'm just having a blast. I hope you are too. Are there any parting words from anyone before we log off? Suspects, do you have anything you'd like to say? Mr. Detective, do you have anything to offer before we go?
The only thing that I can say is
You do that so well. So articulate.
You did that very well, Andrew, but I was looking at Deborah going,
I thought it was
Nice. I actually did this. Like, don't let Christopher talk.
you know, hold on. I have a whole stack of Deborah's books. If that happens, they'll be worth a mint. Ooh, they'll be good.
Of course,
I'm dead. I can't sell them.
Our books.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m.